Hello, you're here on take 3 of the side bucket part. So the Dream Bucket family, we're still releasing in there, and now this is another exploration into what we call in the Community Bucket. So whoever is here and available to talk, these are all people we got relationships with each other. We spend a lot of time together. So I'm John. I've talked on the Dream Bucket for 30-some episodes now. And then we're going to go around the room, and people are going to give their names. We got 1 return and 2 new guests to the bucket here. So, Scott, you want to tell a story?
Scott, the return.
The return
to the bucket. I'm back. Be ready, skill sharp, tongue even sharper.
He's the experienced podcaster in the room.
Scott, him.
Casey told me not to use last names. Yeah, the last one, so we don't get doxxed.
Scott.
Yeah. I'm not usually looking out for that. Though our last name, and I didn't put your last name in like the notes either. So you're
5 letters, 1 syllable.
Scott.
Yeah,
Scott. And then who do we got over there? I'm
Bird.
Ooh, so we got Byrd. Okay. We got Byrd on the microphone. First time. Has you ever done a podcast before?
This is my first time in the podcast, period.
Okay.
So that's why I'm sitting over here with Scott so he can help me.
I got you. Byrd with the feather. I see you. Okay, I see what you put together. Byrd, the feather. Hey, we flocking together. I didn't know. Flying V.
And I'm Hind. Or as Casey refers to me as, Hindy Bindy Boo.
Hindy Bindy Boo has been a character.
Hindy Bindy Boo. In all her stories.
Yep, she's been in the podcast.
Or Hind Doggy.
Byrd has been mentioned in the podcast many times. Hindy Bindy Boo has been mentioned in the podcast many times. But I'm working on calling you Hind because in a professional setting you are Hind. And I think maybe is only Casey who calls you Hindy Bindy Boo.
Yep.
It's not a family thing. It's not a
just her.
Just her.
Other friends have other nicknames, but that's her unique name for me.
Yeah. Hindy Bindy Boo and Sinja Bindy Boo.
Sija Bindy Boo.
Sija
That's my
Bindy
little
Boo.
cousin Sija.
Sija,
She's a Bindy Boo. So today when we walked in here together, she said, "Hey, it's the Bindy Boos."
It's the Bindy Boo. That sounds right. Sija's going to help us with our marketing.
Yep.
Hopefully one day when we'll figure out how to use Twitter and Instagram and Facebook all at the same time.
The Gen Z got that unlocked.
I'd rather stay in a hole.
So this is how the podcast work? We just get on here and get to talking about everything?
Yeah.
We do. And then the guy who does... And then we also learn as we go because I don't really have a plan, but I enjoy the conversations a lot. And so it started with, it was Casey, Nick, and me, and we would just talk about whatever. Now, Casey always has some energy that comes in and directs us, and then we go off of that. And then we have the Dream Bucket at the 45-minute mark, and then when the timer goes off, we would pull out a dream, and it's a random idea, and we would talk about that oftentimes.
So this particular one is what is this one? This is not the Dream
So this
bucket.
is the side bucket.
Side bucket.
Yeah, I've been calling it the Community Bucket when I release it. So this is the 3rd time. There was Alec and Anila. There was Scott, Keem, Jax, and Steve. And now here we are. And then there's also technical learnings because I'm not used to running the computer myself. That's usually what Nick does. So I forgot to turn you on, Corey, until now.
For real?
Yeah.
So all that shit I was just talking to you, that was on.
See what happened? But see, you want to know what's funny?
That's what we do to Generation X in here.
But what's funny about that is that also makes a quarter of what I said sound crazy because there's it's just me at that point. Yeah,
what's wrong with him?
Thanks a lot. I don't know if there's enough space in the bucket for
Zach
that.
gonna have to edit all this.
Yeah, I don't know if there's.
So what's the difference? What's the difference between the buckets? So you got the Dream Bucket and then the side bucket. What distinguishes the two?
So the dream, those are good questions that we could use a production meeting to talk about. But the Dream Bucket is mainly, it's become basically our relationships. So there's a bit that goes through that whole part about Casey's stories and relationships and what she's going through, dating apps and processing that. You've got Nick's story and what he's going through, me bringing more parenting and different aspects, and we challenge each other and talk about things. It becomes very therapeutic at times. We talk about IFS, we talk about whatever comes up, and then whatever we're going through. So that's much more just a group of friends, authentic challenge and deep conversations, or funny conversations, lots of jokes and funny stuff. And then this is more about bringing in more of the community that we're in and relationships that we have. The thing that I think I still really like about it is that it's not like guests who are people we don't know. These are relationships that we have that is in our community or in our family, and now we're having conversations. And I just feel like the conversations we have just even in the room over there before now and different times are just very rich. Good conversations. We're able to have difficult arguing discourse in a healthy way. We don't become an echo chamber necessarily. So I don't know.
Well, I got a question.
Okay.
It's about dating apps.
I bet I got
Oh
that.
God,
What's
dating
happening?
apps. That's a big theme in the podcast.
What's happening?
My question is for males and females, but more so for the guys. And be honest, guys, when you go to a dating app, are you going there for a relationship or are you just going there to hit?
I think that speaking from a guy's perspective and a guy's perspective that is you have used dating apps before, I don't think it's any different than dating in the real world. You're just doing it digitally. When you're dating in the real world, you're not dating everybody to hang out and build a relationship. Some people you're just trying to get it and quit it, and sometimes you're actually trying to build. So it's the same thing. I think for me personally, because of some of the experiences I've had and like some of the places I've been, it's easier to not be liked for those things and for who I am sometimes through a dating app than it is in person. You know, if I take you out, initially we're setting a standard of like a financial expectation, a this, a that. But if we message back and forth for a week, 2 weeks, whatever, and really get to know each other without seeing each other, there's a baseline of energy that's established to where when we do meet face to face, it's not that awkward. It's like, oh, I feel like I know you. This is cool. We can, you know, but it depends. But if you just out here on it, if you're just trying to get some, it don't matter if it's a dating app or the bar. Like, that's just what your intention is. You know what I'm saying? Like, just we're in a generation where technology's involved. So,
And what you say? What you think?
You know, I think dating apps are really interesting and online dating in general because right now dating apps are making a lot of money. Like, because they're selling people this dream of you gonna find the one, you gonna find the person. So people keep going on there and they keep making these subscriptions and stuff.
How much does it cost to be on one of those?
They're all different.
there's tiered packages.
There's tiered
packages.
You
There's
want to be on for the week,
you can get laid
or
more
you want to be
often
on
if
for the
you
year.
Pay extra.
Yeah, because I think you got to pay just to connect with somebody, right?
No.
Okay, because the last time I was on a dating app was on it's Tag. I think it was Tag.
Tag.
TAGGE. Tagged.
You was on the wrong one.
No. This was what the purpose was. You know, I was just trying to hit. So, and it was foreign. So
Okay.
I was,
tag. Okay, I see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yours. Well, that's why they was paying. That was online. That was
booty call. That was online booty call.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, so you pay for that.
I signed up for it.
Yeah, you pay for it. I mean,
but I was trying to get the booty without paying for it.
Yeah. So look, but think
I want
about,
a free booty.
But look, think about this though, right? If it's a real life booty call, right?
Is there such thing?
I was gonna say no. There's no.
Never.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. If it was in real life, you went for some drinks. You bought a dinner.
Yeah, you paid for. You right.
So you can eliminate doing all that by paying for the subscription.
The only way you don't pay is if you flip the roll, and I need to be spent on. I need to be taken out. I need you flip the roll.
That's a thing too.
Yeah, right. That's gigolos.
Because
look, Scott lit up. You see how I start moving? You say,
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why I lit up right there. Right?
It's shoulder roll though.
Because man, we got these like wild ass, weird ass gender roles in this world.
Ooh, that's
the
next topic.
I don't subscribe to that shit, fam. Like,
so you ain't with the nouns.
What you mean?
He, she, etc.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying by I don't subscribe to the gender role shit is like, oh, I'm the man, so that means I have to pay for the date or take you out on the date,
that shit
or
like
I have to approach you because there's
in the
like,
dream bucket.
like think about it like this, right? Have you ever been somewhere and you like make eye contact with somebody and you know y'all got mutual interests, but that person won't come to like a woman won't come say something to you? Why? Oh, well, cool. I'm the prize, too. I'll sit over here in my corner and look just as cute, and we can stare back and forth, and if you don't say nothing, I'll go home and sleep just as fine. I'll be all right. Like, you know?
Yeah. I'm with
so, that's why I'm like, when you say that, like, hell yeah, I lit up. Please, you want to know something? Yeah. Go ahead and tell me you want to take me out on a date. Now I might slightly be falling in love. You said the right thing.
Well, see, and then that flips. We have an episode called "Take Me on a Date," which is Casey's struggle to get someone to just take her on a date. She gets all sorts of people on the dating app, and they're talking to her, they're hitting her up, they want to chat and talk to her a lot. She's really fun to talk to, lots of talking, and then let's go straight to your crib, and she's like, "Take me on a date." And getting somebody to actually just take her out has been a real struggle. And having guys with
because they
even
probably
longer term
know
relationships
if they
aren't going to go out.
If they saying let's go to your crib, and she says take me on a date, and then we take you on a date, we still don't end up at the crib.
And then that did happen in one of the episodes.
Yeah,
yes.
see, quit playing. You gotta be honest. You gotta tell individuals that ain't nothing happening. Ain't nothing happening.
But I don't know that though. I'm not.
This is
You
why
can't
you gotta
put
tell
that
them.
on.
This is why you gotta tell them.
Nah, I could in my mind or in a message say that. But if this person take me on a date and they're charming and I feel that, like I'm not. I might want to give some up on the first date.
See, that's
and didn't intend to from the
but that's
beginning.
you, Scott. We talking about KC. So you gonna have to tell them ain't nothing happening.
But you can
shouldn't have to do that.
As a woman, you can say that to a man, and he can agree just so you can come out and spend time with him, and he can still expect something or think that he gonna finesse something. Anyway,
the deeper thing to that is, why is that a standard that has to be set to us as men for going on a date? Just because we going on a date don't mean I'm getting something. Like, why is that even?
And not all men think that way, but some men do.
Going on a date even relate to? Like, that don't even equate to
That's
me
what
like that.
that's what it's called, a date.
Just because I might find you attractive on this dating app and our chit chats might be cool, but what if you got this annoying ass Fran Dresser voice that I didn't know because we ain't never actually talked? I'm good. I'm not trying to knock boots with Fran Dresser. Like, that's trash. I'm good. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
that's
All right.
nah,
I think
you
it depends
can't.
all on your intention before you go out on the date. And I think there's, when we were talking about how much dating apps cost and stuff like that, there's so many different kinds of dating apps. There's Tinder, which is the top of the list of dating apps or dating sites. And Tinder, I think most people just know that's a hookup site. I think most people would agree that's what it's for. I mean, I've never been on Tinder, but
I got on.
You always hear about Tinder, but then there's other ones like there's Match. And I think that one and like maybe like Christian Mingle and stuff like that. Some of those maybe are more serious, or maybe people find more serious people. I don't know.
Christian Mingle.
But there's so many. There's OkCupid. There's eHarmony. There's Hinge.
Also,
what
so
you
y'all
Googling?
know,
You Googling data?
so y'all
I
know
like data.
All
so
of these companies,
I'll read you
all
data
of these
about stuff all
apps
day
are like
long.
owned by the same companies.
Right.
So like Black, Hinged, Bumble, POV. I think like 5 to 7 of the top 10 dating apps are owned by the same company. So when you talk about like, are they serious or not serious? Like, you have to look at those sort of things. In my eyes, like she's saying, the data, because the data shows you that from the company's inception, it's really just a capitalist thing. If I'm really out here with a dating app that I think is gonna like bring everyone together, why do I gotta own 7 other dating apps to do the exact same thing?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, just like your intention on a date, what's your intention with the app? Like, it's all what you're moving with out the gate.
And that then gets to like, I pivot off into the world of like, it's very important how healthy our relationships are with each other, and the sort of marital side, if it's marriage or if it's whatever, your committed significant other, whether it's one-on-one or one-on-two or however you're doing that thing, that area is like kind of your pinnacle relationship of what you're trying to do. And how healthy that is an indication of how healthy all the other relationships in our society are going to be. To me, my relationship with my wife is kind of like the core healthy relationship that everything else kind of falls off of from that. I practice my highest form of relationship and then I work my way down. So if the apps are creating themselves and setting themselves up in a way to just make money and just turn people in, and when people are going on the apps, the first thing I'm thinking about, are we getting laid on the first one or on the second one? I'm sorry, like getting laid's great, but if you're trying to get laid that early in a relationship, I question your seriousness. I mean, I'm not saying wait until marriage, but I'm saying there's more to the content of building a relationship. And when you're just doing first impressions and then you're mixing it with your bodies and you're mixing those up in the sheets, now you're confusing all the pieces that go together. And how do you know which data you're leading with as to whether or not this is a healthy relationship? And it's damaging for us to be going on these apps and getting betrayed, lied to again and again with these people who are not in our community. There's no accountability. There's no follow through. To me, it just feels like a very, very unhealthy system. And I mean, listening to Casey navigate it has also been terrible. And that said, there's some people that have successful relationships off the dating app. So I guess great.
Well, I think not just dating apps, but also social media in general. It makes people feel, if one thing doesn't work out, it's so easy to replace people, and people are so disposable. You just swipe right, here's the next person, and
right.
All right, this one, they're not trying to give up no cookies or whatever. So okay, let me go on
Right.
to the next one. Like
Right.
instead of trying to actually get to know that person more, or whatever it is. But on the data side, I just wanted to say 3 in 10 U.S. adults say they have ever used a dating site or app, which is identical to the share who said the same in 2019. It says that it's more common among younger adults than older people. About half of those under 30, 53% report they ever used a dating app or site, compared with 37% of those ages 30 to 49. And 20% of those ages 50 to 64, and 13% of those 65 and older. But in today, I think COVID changed a lot of things. Like, you don't meet people. You have to go online to meet people now. Like, it's hard to meet people. You don't just meet them.
We don't have organic communities. No.
Right.
You got to go look them up
People
somewhere
rely on them a lot.
and then schedule something. Or we're just going to digital relationships. That's my other thing. Is, are the kids just learning how to have digital relationships instead of the kind of thing we're doing right now? Is, you know, why we're in the same room.
But I mean, also too, with like what you get out of these dating apps and like kind of like weirdness of how you navigate them and what happens. Like, I don't think a lot of people think about it this way. I can only speak for myself, but like, how do you view yourself? What is your like self-image and like internal strength, fortitude? Because like, I operate and believe off of you attract like what you put out. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I'm on a dating app and I've had 10 matches and gone on, out of those 10 matches, 2 dates, I got to ask myself, is this something that I'm projecting, putting out? Is this something in my conversation? Am I not giving off something that makes you feel like I want to go on a date? Am I cool with, does it seem like I'm just cool with this conversation? Like, am I pushing the envelope? You know what I mean? Like, it's so many different things that you got to answer for yourself.
2 out of
first.
10 bad?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. You're just saying.
I'm not.
2 out
I'm
of
just
10.
saying.
Like,
I'm
it's
just
more
saying
better.
like I'm not saying better or worse. I'm just saying like using that as because it's just the easiest like round number to use.
Yeah.
I would say if there's 10 people that I'm in conversation with, those 10 people I got in conversation with because I wanted to probably see what a date or meeting them in person would be like at some point, right? So if only 2 of them 10, and bad, good or bad is dependent upon the person. You know what I'm saying? So using it for myself. Let's use the hypothetical scenario that 2 out of 10 is a bad situation. I'm going to step away and like check myself and be like, all right, what am I doing? Like, why? Because I move on energy, even if it is digitally. Like, I can feel my energy through what I got up, how I got my bio read, what pictures, and you know, I'm putting out. Like, so am I good with myself? And is that maybe why this ain't going the way I wanted it to go? You know, like, I try not to put the onus on other things in life in general. I feel like it all kind of comes back to like self. Even when the circumstances may be created by somebody else, I still feel like the way that I come out of it is based upon myself and how I choose to react, not react, internalize, whatever the case may be.
I like that. And then that flips back to the point Hind's making, where maybe the reason we always say like, oh, social media is so bad and all these dating apps are so bad and all these things they're all, you know, we were fine. Everybody was getting along great. We were all great friends. And then social media came along and made us all depressed and suicidal. Like, maybe it's just amplifying our own negative energies. Exactly. And yes, if we were putting a different energy into these things, these are great tools to harness and grow healthy systems and societies. But instead, you know, yeah, do they, in their marketing and algorithms, do they kind of like probably grow naturally on negative energy? Yeah. But that's actually not that different from the rest of life. You know, a bad actor in a room, you know, that can be loud. You have to work and be disciplined to not let that affect your energy.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the thing for me, whether you're talking about online dating, regular dating, platonic relationships, like family relationships, whatever. Like, most of the things that I've dealt with where things went bad in any sort of relationship, again, even if it wasn't me that caused the circumstances, there was something in me that probably made that worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was something I could have done to prevent, whether it was prevent this happening to us, prevent me experiencing whatever the other party was projecting, like whatever. Because if I sit around and like point at everyone else or wonder why everyone else did, or like, well, I'm never gonna get no answer, because I don't know them. You know, like I'm not them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So have you ever, any of you, had a successful relationship off of online dating or dating sites?
Never had to try.
What you laughing for?
I was laughing at Scott. Scott was looking at him too. Scott, y'all can't see Scott.
It's a very serious question.
Yeah,
He's dancing, thinking about all his success.
Maybe for me, maybe about 2, 3 in Jamaica.
I was gonna say, what's your gauge for successful relationship on a dating?
You had
Relationship.
relationships in Jamaica that you met them online.
Through the dating app. Yeah.
Long-term
I feel
relationships.
like that's a little different,
Yep,
though.
like what that was me. That was what I did. I didn't want to
That's a
do
whole
the
different
dating
dynamic.
apps here in the States. I did the dating app and then did the area that I wanted to be in, and it was Westmoreland, Jamaica, and boom. Then when I went to Jamaica, I found the people, and like maybe out of 3, 2 of them were long-term relationships. Well, long-term relationships in Jamaica.
When you were there for a few weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
But then it ended up being like, years, but for a few weeks, for years. So, when I got really into it, I was going 3 to 4 times a year. But then I was, in the relationship, I was establishing other things that made the relationship real, healthy for me, like property, land, stuff like that.
I mean, I don't know I guess it depends on what.
So then it wasn't about just,
Tagging.
Even though I tagged.
I don't know. I guess it depends on what the gauge for successful is. Will I say that? Have I ever been in a relationship based on a dating app? Yes. Successful? No. I'm a single man, so clearly it wasn't successful. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think.
Were they
Well, it could have been
successful for a
successful
time?
at that time.
Yeah. It doesn't have to end together to be a success.
Because if that's the case, then, be employed and be successfully employed for a period of time.
Again, I think
and make
success
you
is
unemployed when you forever.
I think success is, again, like that's a
Has a long-term relationship come
Help
out
him,
of
man.
online dating?
Help him, man.
I mean,
I don't feel like Scott want to
what's
answer this
long
shit, bro.
term though? Like
At least 12 months.
Why is it so difficult for him to answer these questions?
No.
I don't know,
If we're-
y'all
if
men
we're
have
saying-
trouble.
You never
with
made it
this.
to
if we're
the
saying
year.
if
Damn,
we're
answer
saying
the damn
if
question.
we're saying at least 12 months,
Just answer the question.
Have you ever
No,
made it?
because-
Have you ever made? What's the longest you've gotten out
like
of it?
6-8 months, something
6,
like
8
that.
months.
Yeah, close. But and I mean, and like I say,
And it ain't just me.
didn't-
It's Scott.
Okay.
I don't.
I'll answer you directly.
All right.
You
Yeah,
know I
I'm
can't
answering.
Yeah,
straight.
you do answer directly.
No, this is the thing. I'm not.
Scott turn on music and shit. Start
I'm
dancing.
not. Nah,
He
I'm not.
dance around the question.
No, I'm not
It's a
dancing
simple
around.
yes or yes. Yes.
No, because
See?
again, man,
See?
the
See
way
what I'm
that
saying?
I view and look at stuff is usually different
Yeah,
than
but
other
hey,
people.
but
Because
view it the way she asked the question.
So look, I've been in relationships with people that were literally no longer than 90 days. That even though me and that person didn't work out, I feel like it was the most successful relationship I had.
Okay.
I felt like I could be myself more.
Now,
than
was that off the app?
No.
Okay, so
But I've had one that started that way off the app and then went left later.
but you had it.
Yeah.
Okay, and during the time before it went left.
What you mean it went left?
Oh shit!
Tell us more.
What you do, Scott? Because you be doing shit.
I didn't. What you mean? What I do?
You
I
be
didn't-
doing shit too.
No, I mean we all do.
You
No,
just got
for
to
sure.
explain it
No,
about
for
your
sure.
parts.
No, for sure. We all
did
do.
something.
We all do shit.
So what did you do?
What did I do? I was not.
You was on the app some more after you had got that
No.
relationship. You went back on the app.
No. What issues that caused that situation to end and a lot of the relationships to end again boiled down to like issues with self that I just hadn't dealt with. And I would like take time to like deal with certain parts
So
and
you kinda, like,
aspects of
fucked up.
shit. Yeah, no,
So-
for sure. I mean, I grew up with a real like ill image of what like love and like relationships is supposed to look like. So I didn't necessarily, I had to figure out what that definition was for myself. I didn't come from the like mom and dad are married, you see this successful relationship. Like most romantic relationships outside my aunt and uncles in my life either didn't exist because my mom and my grandma have been pretty much single my entire life other than being with my dad. And then I see my dad and my stepmom, their shit can be toxic at times. You know what I'm saying? And then every other style of romantic relationship I saw around me was hella toxic. Even though it may have worked and they found their happiness within it, that wasn't the shit that worked for me.
I feel like other people's toxic relationships make me be better in mine. So you couldn't take that away. You just when you seen toxic shit, you just rolled it. They
No,
toxic,
it wasn't.
So I'm gonna be
No,
toxic.
it wasn't that I roll with it. It was normalized. So if by my father growing up and telling me, well, your grandpa was a bit of a player, and your dad do his thing here and there, and it's all good. We take care of the house and the family straight, and everybody good. You don't look at cheating within your marriage the same as somebody who's like, oh, that's always a bad thing, and that's not what we do. That shit's normal. You know what I'm saying? It's normal to be out.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
so
because I came up in the same thing. My dad had a wife and 2 women, and all his life. And then when I'm growing up seeing that, that's what set out for me to do it. But after a while,
yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm talking about. Because you still single.
But once
so you ain't learned shit yet. You still fucking up, Scott.
No, what I learned, no, you want to know what it is? You know what I learned?
Yeah, that's what we asking.
I learned that I'm not completely ready emotionally all of the time to fully be in a relationship.
How old are you, man?
You're not ready right
35.
35.
Yeah, right now.
So when you gonna get ready, Scott?
Man,
how many kids you got?
My journey is my journey. Ain't
No, I'm just asking. How many kids you got?
3.
3? About 3 baby mamas or 1 baby mama? Two
baby mamas.
3 kids by 2 baby mamas.
Yep. And the mother of my first children, I thought that was the woman I was gonna marry. We was together for almost 10 years.
And then what you do, Scott?
After we broke up, I wilded out because I was in my late 10s, early 20s when we started dating. So I didn't really become a single person.
And then the second,
till I was like 25 years old.
And then the second baby mama, how long you with her?
We was together for like 4 years.
And you 34. So the first one was the long-term relationship all the way, and then the second one was a
calling
little short.
baby mamas if he's lying.
Right.
The second one came pretty quick after the mother of my first 2 children, after my youngest son, because my youngest son and my oldest son are 2 years apart. So I went from being really hurt and I jumped into something trying to like fill a void because I didn't necessarily know what to do because I hadn't been single pretty much ever at that point.
It's crazy because your articulation and how you talk and everything seems to be of par, but you can't seem to hold down a relationship, Scott.
No, it's not that I can't hold down a relationship. It's that somebody's got to be on par with this. Like I truly look at myself as the prize. I didn't do all this work for nothing. I didn't put all this into myself for nothing. So not just anybody can get access to it. Like it take a special person to like crack this shell because I know I'm worth that.
And then how did the person know that they got the special shit if you ain't experiencing it? You ain't trying to, exercise what's special for Scott.
You don't know what I'm exercising and not exercising?
I
do know. No, you assuming.
No, we did.
We're trying to get to the
extensive,
bottom of it.
Yeah, tell him here.
So, what, why? So are you asking me why I'm single?
Yeah, I'm just wanting to know why you having so much difficulties with relationships, Scott.
Because sometimes I'm not emotionally mature.
Okay, so
that's really what it comes down.
Right.
So that's really what it'll come down to.
This is a good place.
And it's not that I don't know how to be emotionally mature. There are just some things that I'm still working on with myself. When it's triggered, I don't have the tools yet to I don't have the tools in the toolbox sometimes to like turn it off. What'll happen is because I know I can't turn it off, I'll just leave. Because that's best for everybody, but then that looks like I'm running from the situation, or it look like I don't want to face something.
This is what I was talking about how you able to articulate so keenly. This is what I be saying. You got good answers for your shit.
He's a runner.
Because I understand.
Say it again here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yes,
he's a runner. He's a track.
And a big part of my running is my own self-image. Like sometimes, because again, with the things that have happened with me romantically and the way that I've seen other romantic relationships in my life, when something romantically goes well, sometimes I will self-sabotage because I'm not used to it. I'm like, wait, and self-sabotage isn't always as far as you like subconsciously doing stuff to push it away. Just that thought of, damn, I don't deserve this, or, this is going so good, maybe something's gonna go bad. The moment you start thinking that you're making room, that's self-sabotage in itself. So I need to, for the sake of me and somebody else, have that stuff worked out because somebody else don't deserve to like
go through that.
Yeah, I shouldn't be finding the answers to those questions in a woman. Like that's for me to work.
It's gonna be some of both. I mean, you're not going to work it all out, land, and then do that together with a woman. But there could be a situation where you can take that leap of trust to turn off some of those bullshit apps to use the IFS parts we were talking about before, where like there's these things coming in and getting involved. And what's missing a lot of times in the relationship narrative is that we we want to find love and we want to find a good, healthy relationship. And then we do this thing in our brain where we go, oh, that means a relationship that doesn't have a bunch of struggle and difficult shit and fuck-ups happening. It's not a question of, are you going to have a relationship with fuck-ups or not? And are there too many fuck-ups? It's, is this somebody who, when the fuck-ups happen,
I can deal with
you can get together and maintain trust being the central thing in that relationship. Even with my kids, it's dealing with that so much of like, oh, these bad things happened in this relationship. It's like, your family, it's going to suck. It is supposed to suck. The question is, how do you get through the suck? Do you run? Do you distance? Do you what sort of things happen? I'm not judging and saying what it should be per se.
I haven't found the person yet that I'm wanting to like, because I agree. Like, two things can exist at the same time. I can be working on self while working on a healthy relationship with someone, but I've yet to find someone that's willing to deal with my ugly parts and vice versa.
And you haven't trusted that. Even if they could have, you didn't believe it.
And it's not even that it's that I don't trust in that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess, well, no, because the way that I operate is and I've had to even turn this app off. Most people like look at trust like you have to earn my trust, right? Mm-hmm. That's not how trust operates for me. Everybody has 110% of my trust. You have to prove to me I shouldn't give you my trust.
It's like you got an A in the beginning.
Yeah, you got an A out the
gate. Work your way.
You got to lose that 100% with me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And like, that's a good and bad thing because it's also left me exposed to things that I shouldn't have because I was too trusting out the gate with certain stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not necessarily willing to compromise on that because that's what in my core and in my heart, that's who I am. I believe all humans deserve the opportunity to be trusted. And so it's not that I don't trust. It's just when you start at 100 and you start chipping away at that,
it's hard to get back.
Before it gets to a point of I don't trust you, I'd rather be like, hey, this is already trending in a direction where it could potentially be ugly. And I like where we're at. I'd rather us find a way to be cool and like separate or not do this or like just have that conversation and figure out whatever that looks like. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say that it's not that I don't trust. It's just I got a high standard for what, and again, I got kids. Mm. So that means whoever.
How old are your kids?
My oldest I got a 13-year-old daughter. I got an 8-year-old son and a 6-year-old son.
Okay.
So I got kids. So whoever I choose to be with is going to be around my children.
Also. Yep.
And not only are they going to be around my children, they're going to be around the mothers of my children because those are two of my best friends. Mm-hmm. Like we procreated together. We together for the rest of our lives in one way, shape, or form.
Yep.
You plan on procreating anymore with them?
With who?
Your baby mamas? Sometimes going back is good.
Yeah, but it's not though. In this situation.
Who says?
Well, for one, the mother of my oldest children, like that's a ship that's been sailed, and it wasn't a ship that I wanted to go back to.
But the ship sails in circles, so it can come back around to the port.
This one found a dock.
Oh, and dock. On land. So they started. They doing their own business.
And whether what
about
the
other baby mama?
That's also one of my best friends, but I also know that why we ended was because of me and my bullshit.
So wouldn't that justify giving her another chance because you?
It's not for me to decide if there's another chance given in that. That's not my decision to make.
Oh, okay. Yeah. She don't want your ass no more.
No, it's not even. I couldn't say because I'm never gonna apply that kind of pressure.
Right.
That's not for me to do. Like I don't feel like as a man.
You see his facial expressions. You see her. Do you see her? I'm just saying, we in this podcast. Do you see her face?
What did her face say?
Oh my God. But I'm just saying as a man, like it's not. It ain't
taking this all in.
It ain't our job to like choose. That's not for us. Like, yeah, I can be attracted to her, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be
but you can make moves that can lead to healing.
You can.
I disagree.
You can choose and put your effort into something, but at the end of it, like,
I'm not saying effort into relationship. I'm saying effort into healing because you're kind of making. If her trust isn't to you, you can make moves of apologizing or being.
Yeah, and I've done all of those things, and I continue.
So you did try to go back?
No. I'm not because I'm doing what I'm doing to try to heal the situation or mend or regain trust doesn't mean that we're going to regain a romantic relationship. Like your relationship should be with your friend. Those things that we just talked about are like friendship, platonic relationship, like established things you should have. If you can't trust me, if my word ain't good, if I've been a sneak, a cheater, or whatever at any point in time, just on a friendship level, if somebody don't meet them standards, you're not gonna fuck with them.
And that's part of where, like, to branch off the dating thing a little bit, I think that the friendship level is where the relationships begin.
For sure.
And we don't there's no friendship dating apps in that same sense. Like, we're not starting at that level. And so often we're going and trying to have this relationship at the highest level. We don't have a foundation. And so then what happens is things don't quite work out, and then you don't trust each other. Well, you were trying to build a house without a foundation. Mm-hmm. You don't have a community behind you. You don't have relationships that connect you to each other. You don't have a group of people around you. And then we're trying to do this relationship, and then we're just further, I don't know, 20 minutes. Just said that in. Hi, Casey. Casey's asking us how much longer. Hi, Casey of the Dream Bucket. You could sit there and we could pass mics back and forth. How much longer are we going to be? We're talking about dating apps.
Ever.
20 minutes.
We're trying to get to the bottom of
we're going to figure it out.
I was going to say that really what's happening is they're trying to get at me, gang.
We kind of needed you in here.
Byrd is yeah.
They're trying to get at me, gang.
He's on the offensive.
So I have a question.
Oh, good moves, Casey.
I got to answer it too.
How important is marriage to you, or is it not important to you at all? Is that something that you aspire in your life, or not really? Or do you think it makes does it have any value for you?
Just for all of us, or just for Scott?
Well, Byrd, you are married, so we know that you find value in it, and you see the importance
and
of
it's
it.
Twice.
So
I've been
otherwise,
married
you
twice.
wouldn't have done it
Twice.
right?
But Scott,
do I find value in marriage?
Fuck no. Just tell the truth, Scott.
Yes and no.
There's no
I mean,
right or wrong
well,
answer.
no, because this is the thing.
You notice that, right?
No, because this is the
you
thing.
notice how he juggles with this?
No, this is the thing. I think
the question was presented to me, and I say yes. Just yes, I
but
do.
Yeah, but bro,
Byrd says yes.
Dictate my answers.
We know that.
You don't determine.
No,
my
I'm just.
And
John, what do you say?
And John
yes?
married too, so we
yes?
already know how he feel about it.
It doesn't have to be.
wanna
It
do a
doesn't have to
Scott
be
on us, huh?
marriage. Yeah, I got a Scott for it. I mean, it doesn't have to be marriage, but yeah, I do believe in having a committed relationship at that highest place. You want to do it with a ring and a marriage, fine.
And I feel like, because for me, marriage is like, I understand that. For me, when I think marriage, it's a celebration of all of the things he just said being established for everyone else. That a wedding ain't necessarily about the bride and groom in my eyes.
You know any life Jennings songs?
For sure. It must be nice, right?
Yeah, because you sound like it.
I've heard that.
You
So
sound
I still didn't understand your answer.
I didn't either, but I just had to,
Yeah.
That's
No,
the kind of answers we've been getting all night, though.
That's
It's yes or no.
You can't make me be yes or no, but
would you be committed to like if a woman's in a relationship, would you be
Yeah.
willing
know
to
the
say
answer
I'm
there.
going to do the rest of my
Yeah.
life
He can't
with
even
you?
commit to a yes or a no.
Yes.
Yeah.
He definitely
No,
commit
I mean,
to it.
He's about the
No, 'cause
commitment.
the thing
He
is,
just
yeah.
doesn't care about the marriage.
Right, that's what I'm saying is the answer is yes, but the reason it's yes and is because the marriage and the ceremony doesn't necessarily matter. It's the commitment and the actual relationship that matters. It don't take a ring and a signed document for me to feel like I'm committed to a person for the rest of my life. But am I willing, and do I want that? Hell yeah, I got a wedding planned in my head that's going to be off the hook. You know what I'm saying? But it's not necessary either, though. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Interesting.
Do you think would you be fine doing the commitment without the the wedding? Like, what if you were in the same situation and then your partner was like, I don't want to do the marriage, but I want to be committed to you. Do you have to do the marriage?
For me, the institution of marriage brings about other entities like a trust. It attaches to my legacy, attaches to insurance,
You would be
attaches
there
to
for
a
the
lot of.
financials.
Yeah, I'm not finna listen. Now we talking about me.
You were talking
I'm
about money.
not finna fuck with nobody unless we finna establish all of those points for real. So it's bigger for me because I that's what, like what Scott was saying. What the complexities that go with dealing with Byrd is a lot of other things that go with it. So when I'm looking at a woman and pursuing that woman, it's not just a hit, but hitting is in it. But it's also financial security on what you can do with your money and what we be doing with mines, where you live and how you live. There's a whole lot of different complexities. Your mama and them, your uncles and them, the family, your social life. There's a whole lot of different complexities that I'm going to be taking my time
Tax
with
benefits,
you. All of
filing
it,
taxes,
the whole thing.
opening
In fact,
bank accounts.
I break the whole art of relationship in threes. So it's like courting. So when I think of courting, it's like the basketball court. There's at that first stage of courting, there could be 12 motherfuckers on the court. They're all different multiple relationships, meaning that. And then the next stage after that, it would be for me is to engage. Then it's me and one-on-one. That's when I'm saying to myself and I'm saying to the person, if we gonna come out this courting stage into the next phase, then it's really commitment. That's where that commitment starts. That's where that understanding starts. That's where my do's and don'ts really take precedence, And then the last stage is to be wed. So courting, engage, be wed. When I get to that be wed stage, when we get there, then there's a lot of things. We've been through that. We've been through a lot of shit together. A lot of those things that you talked about, those ups and downs, those ebbs and flows, those ins and outs. We've been through it. We exercise it. In fact, that's where the relationship was established, in the courting and engage. Be wed is really taking them saying, you know what? I know you now. I know your ups and downs. I know what's finna happen. I know, and I'm prepared to deal with you on them levels. Are you prepared to deal with me on them levels? Because I got my own problems and issues too that can be too much for a motherfucker.
Well, how does that view differ between your two marriages?
The first one was I didn't know what I noticed in the second one. So it's like the first time
Did you do that process and the courting and all that stuff?
Yeah. I knew that. I knew them stops. I knew them steps. But also the big difference was kids. So when kids came in, it was a whole nother platform, a whole nother plateau of how I'm gonna deal with that. And then it goes back into what we were talking about in our thing. Who am I? I'm always gonna be the man. That plays a part. That plays a hell because where that came from was from a woman. So now in my mind, this is what I got to be for the woman. Always the man. It came from mama, and it was instilled like this is the kind of child, man, I want you to be. So now that's what I set out to be for the woman. You see what I'm saying? So it always plays, and it's nonstop. So it also goes off into my insecurities too. It's like shit, because if I lead that way, then there's chances where I'm trying to build that, and the motherfucker ain't trying to give me that in return. Mm-hmm. So now it's like giving them that 100. Yeah. And then let your ass work your way down. See, once you hit 90, I'm through fucking with you.
That's what I'm saying. And
that's what I mean. No 80s and no 70s.
And that's what I mean by
I can pick up an 80s and 70s game like it ain't nothing.
Yeah. No, and I agree. And that's a part of what I think for a long time I justified, like, this is why I give everybody that 100. Because really, you only got 10% of wiggle. So really, you only got 10% with me. Right. You don't really got 100. Because once you get to 90, I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. Like, you're a great person or whatever, but like, I know that I can only go so far because.
And that's crazy because when you said that it's not just that in my intimate relationship, it's that way in my relationship. My friend pool ain't that damn big because. I give everybody that 100 right off the back, and then you start letting me down. So then I just let you out the way to get down. Get all the way down. Get by. That's how I look at it. Even right here, I mean, for our staff, man, I enjoy my staff because it's kind of like I get to handpick who I need to be around me in my presence. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And then the people that's there, y'all. Either if it's new, me and Scott hit it off just back because of the relationship and the talking and the communicating and being open. And then same with you. I ain't really knew who Hind was, but she came into our life, so we just took her anyway. But it's the relationship.
We'll deal with her, I guess.
And then seeing them every day.
Somebody's got to.
Somebody got to deal with you.
So Hind, do you believe in marriage and why?
Hey.
Don't read from statistics.
Yeah, no, close that.
No. There's no motherfucker that. But 98% of us believe that.
Put your graphing calculator away.
Yes, I do believe in it. I grew up in a 2-parent household. My parents have been married for 40 years or something. Yeah, about 40, I think. 41. And I do think marriage is important for a lot of different reasons. for having someone there with you to help you out, support, all of that. But also, like, people don't think about, like, when things get tough, like, you get sick, right, and need someone to help you get back healthy. If you're not married, a girlfriend or a boyfriend likely might not, want to be there for you as much as you might need someone to be there for you or whatever. Or, raising children, that requires two people. It doesn't have to be two people, but it's like better. Yeah, it's hard for one person. My married girlfriend complains to me all the time how hard it is raising a kid. So like, I know it's a lot of work. So why would you want to do that alone? I personally wouldn't ever want to do it alone. And I don't have kids, but I have been married before.
What?
Don't what me?
How long you been married, Hind?
I thought the what. I just didn't
know
know
all it is. You knew all it is.
No, I know. I mean, but our audience doesn't know.
Yeah.
Great potting.
It was a little under 2 years.
Oh. How long did you know the person before you married?
And it was a long time ago. I was pretty young, so I was kind of a little young and dumb. Yeah,
So
I would say
prepared by your parents? One of those type of parents? Or you,
no, but it was. I will say,
upset?
no. I will say my parents did kind of pressure it to happen faster than it probably should have, because when they found out about the relationship, just because of the culture I grew up in and the religion and stuff, they was like,
what is your culture and religion?
Yeah. Oh my God. She has a boyfriend. Hurry up and get married. And I'm sure part of it is, they were scared that I would have a kid or something.
Yep.
But yeah, I was like, 21.
You grew up Muslim, right?
21.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I got a question. So you grew up in a 2-parent household, married.
Mm-hmm.
You're married. Did you grow up in a 2-parent household, married?
Mm-hmm.
2-parent household, married?
Yes.
Okay, so do you feel that has any effect on the level of importance that marriage has to you guys? Because for me, so my dad is married and has been married to my stepmom for a long period of time, but like him and my mom never got married, but they were together until they weren't together from high school until, mid-20s or whatever. So I feel like my lack of emphasis on marriage being required, because everything I'm hearing, all of the things you guys listed on why you think marriage is important, I fully agree that that's what you should have out of a life partner. I still don't hear, to me, anything that stands out like that's why I should get married. I'm going to establish all those things with a person whether we're married or not. So for me, it still feels the same way.
So, but what if
celebration of this, the marriage is like you say, if it's courting, the celebration is when we're cutting the nets down. The wedding is cutting the nets down at the end of the NCAA tournament. We won the tournament. We don't have to do that to say that we won the tournament, but it's the ceremony that goes around that.
Yeah, but to me, there's such a gamble to it. Like, it's not the winning of the tournament. The marriage is the like, okay, we've tested out the waters. Now I'm going to stick it out with this one, because there's going to be times when this isn't working and this isn't flying and it's going to suck, and I'm going to stick it out here, and we're both going to be that vulnerable together to stick it out. It's not the winning, it's the beginning of the hard journey.
So you feel like the marriage or being married provides a sense of security that when things get rough, that person will stick it out?
Not just, it's literally to make a long-term relationship with anybody at deep intimacy happen, there's going to be spots when they could turn on you and wound you in a place you would never let anyone else wound you. Sure. What happens is you got protection, you got walls up. And we were talking about it with IFS, which has been talked about on the podcast. We won't get into the whole thing, but you have parts, you have apps that come to keep you from getting hurt and wounded like you were when you were younger or at different points in your life. And even right now, yeah, we're trusting at 100, but I'm sorry, no, we're not letting everything be shown at full vulnerability even necessarily here. Like, there's levels and deeper levels, and there's deeper emotions, and there's deeper places you go and hardships you go through. And if you're going to turn off all of those at some point in time with somebody, the reason you leave the walls up is because that wound is going to hurt more than anything else they could hurt you with. And this person is going to get all the way behind you with a knife, and they could take you out if they want to. So you say the commitment because that's what's going to encapsulate that. And it's the fact that we're both on this mission together, and we've said that out loud. Now, you can do it without, I think you can do that without the marriage ceremony. Mm-hmm. You can do that. People do it with the marriage ceremony and don't have the spirit of commitment. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't necessarily guarantee it. It's, right. It's an old arcane way of trying to do that contract. But I do think that spirit Like, you're not going to make it to the highest form of relationship without. I mean, that's part of parents' love to their kids. What's the key that they're saying to them all the time? It's that I will be here no matter what. And when that's broken, the damage that does to a kid is incredible. Like, it's that.
I think the individual makeup is based on the person or persons. So with the jacket of marriage or without the jacket of marriage, who are you?
Yeah,
who are you, the individual? Because I'm like for my situation for me, I'm always trying to make sure y'all okay. Period. For whatever level, we're going to have a discussion about whatever, defense or whatever, vacation trips or whatever, being single or whatever, tattoos on your face or whatever. I'm going to come at y'all about these things that are troubling you or not. And I'm going to spend that time with you to ask what's up versus somebody that I don't get that for. For somebody that I don't have that for, then I'm not going to put that commitment in. I'm not going to do that. That's the basis of the next level of where we going. Now, if the basis is just me being 100% with y'all, whoever it may be, the guy's level of my basis is I'm only gonna go so far because I ain't gay. On a female, I may be able to experience a little bit further because I'm interested in the female. But the basis is everybody's going to get the basis. Everybody gets the basis, whether you male or female, with me, because that's the basis on genuine relationship. The basis. Now, once that happens, it goes back to that. I'm giving everybody at 100. That's what I'm talking about. I'm giving everybody the 100. And then I'm spending time with individuals. You rub me the wrong way or you play me or whatever on the basis, I'm backing up off of you. And it goes that way with the relationship. Now, my second marriage, it was like that. When I married Stacy, it was based off of she was there with me through all the shit that we was going through. Shit that I wasn't able to deal with on my own, she was there. Mm. Okay? And I wasn't prepared to deal with shit like that because of whatever the fuck I was doing at that time. But she kept being committed even though I was in a relationship. That's the other part, because the basis, she was, regardless of what you're going through. I know you got a motherfucking woman. I know you got to go and do this and all of that, but I'm still going to, because you prove me. And in return, I'm proving to her that I got shit going on over here, but my basis is like, I got you. If you can cover this, you can take care of that. You need some help with this. I can handle this with you. Now that blew up into, now I'm single. I ain't with anybody and I'm looking. Who's available? I got charts on her. I know what she's capable of doing, especially with dealing with my shit. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Versus somebody else, and it goes back to how much am I willing to take a chance with somebody I don't know? Mm-hmm. How much am I gonna give? How much am I gonna give with somebody I don't know? And I got a bench. I got a lineup.
But that's part of what I don't get about the 100 thing. So, like, to me, I trust someone 100, or I see the best in them 100, and I don't necessarily guard myself. But that doesn't mean that all of me is going to every single person. Like, I don't. It's not 100 constantly, because it takes time to unveil and unwrap.
But see, that's the thing for me, though, and the type of person that I am. Like, literally, I will give up. There's not any part of me.
I don't even know what that means.
There's not any part of me. No, what I'm saying is there's not any part of me that, like, is sheltered off, or like I'm not willing to share with anyone around me that I feel like I can not. And that's what I'm saying. Not just anyone is let in on that 100% anymore. But like, I feel like me and you have a base level of trust, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing about me that you couldn't ask me, or nothing that I would be afraid of or guarded to express in front of or show you. Because now if I'm going through something and I have an emotional breakdown, and then at some point you like use that in a way that negatively affects me, that's when your 100% starts to go away. Yeah. But I'm not ever going to block that off, because it takes too much. Like, this is what we were talking about in there in IFS. As a black man, every single day of my life, every single move that I have to make, I have to be guarded. And I went from the extreme of being 100% guarded with everything all the time to the extreme of not having my guard up and allowing too much access to like finding that happy place somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean?
I hear you, and I'm with you on that part. Like the 100 trust, like, yeah, I'm going to tell you if it comes up, I'm going to tell you openly and honestly, and I'm expecting you to do the same, and I'm on that level of trust. But there still is something, and this comes back again to the, like, I don't have, and maybe I just don't have the capacity to automatically run everything on complete autopilot and not have my old apps and protective parts and my old managers come in and they're playing a role in me. So you get different versions of me in different circumstances. You haven't seen me in every single circumstance. You've seen me in these circumstances. That's one thing. But as we go through different circumstances and different kinds of struggles, we're going to see different things. I don't think we're going to necessarily break trust, but there's a process of, you know, showing more different vulnerabilities over there that trust gets secured. You don't start at full. You can start at I'm giving you the chance to screw this up, but that's not the same as having 5 years and having experience with, you had Stacy be there, have your back over and over again. You start to build. There's actually, like, you are pouring cement in time. That you don't pour all the cement 100 in the beginning. You open yourself up to the possibility of the pouring, and then you build on that and stack, and that's where that relationship grows from there.
But you got to use the full. If you're gonna say cement, you got to use the full piece, the whole thing. Before even pouring cement, there's a foundation. So that's the part that I'm talking about. Is that I take the opportunity to dig the foundation, and that's that 100. Now you fuck up, it may not be no cement being poured, but the foundation's still there.
Right, you offer the foundation. That's your 100 is you offer that foundation to everybody, and then when you screw it up, it's like, okay, we're not on that site.
No, my house built. You want to come live in it? That's more how I was operating. Like, my house is built. Like, do you want to come live in this house? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, I know it may sound like crazy or like, and I mean, this is something that
it's going to result in failed relationships.
It has. And that's
what he's saying.
That's what I had said.
You got to go through the extra steps of getting the motherfucker out the house.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like, that's what I mean by, like, having to find that happy medium, because it does end in a lot. It has ended in a lot of failed relationships. And those relationships aren't always romantic. Friendships, relationships in the streets, stuff like that. Like, a lot of those things have gone bad because of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's because, not only because that can be overwhelming for someone else, but that also leaves room for people to, like you were just saying, and that was a point that kind of like tipped in my head, is like, there are certain things that people can cut you with that other people can't cut you with, because that wasn't what it was for me.
Hind, what
Everybody
you gonna say?
knew what it was, cutting, you know?
I was just going to say, I think it's great that he has good relationships with his children's mothers, but if you didn't, like, marriage does also give a layer of protection, like in family courts and stuff. So, like, let's say if your baby mom was just bitter and hated your guts and didn't want you to keep the child from you. In those situations, what protects a man is marriage. Like, if you was married and the marriage ended up failing or whatever, you have more of an advantage is if you were the husband and the father of that child versus if you was just the baby daddy or the child's father.
Right. And for me,
so there's a lot of men in this country who get treated like crap through family courts and the justice system, and they don't get treated fairly, and the woman gets majority of the rights, and they side with her majority of the time, and it's not fair. But had they been married, it would be a completely different story.
But see, for me, that's married for the wrong reason. No,
I'm not saying that's the reason you should.
No, but what I'm saying is, for me, with that specific topic, like, I don't feel like I shouldn't. If I feel like at any point the fact that we're married has to come up somewhere down the road because of the children, or you're not going to let me see my kids, or whatever the case may be, then that means that we probably shouldn't have even got married or had kids in the first place. And also, I'm the type of person, because I have dealt with the family courts with all three of my children. I don't care about how hard it is for me, but that's because I'm an active, present father, and that's what I mean by most of this stuff comes back down to, like, you. So if your baby mom ain't letting you see your kids, if they're not letting you have visitation, whatever your gripe with them is, what are you doing to either add to them being able to do that, or to give the courts no room to not let you see them. Because as a non-married, the reason why I was able to, when there was a little bit of strife with my kid's mom and like potential visitation, the reason why being unmarried worked in my favor and I didn't have to, because there's not a missed child support payment. There's not a cell phone bill that I ain't paid for them. There's not a weekend that's missed when they're with me. There's not a weekday where they can call me, a track event, a sport event, or this event that I'm not at. Dad's at the front row at everything. Mm-hmm. So the court can't keep me away. They can't, like literally you can't at that point
but
keep
there's
me away.
There are, I've personally met men who are good fathers, who spend time with their children, who do everything that they're supposed to do, and they still get put through it. You know, sometimes the child's mother might have mental health issues. Mm-hmm. She just might be angry because he moved on and don't want to be with her, or whatever the case may be.
Or she just might be a bitch.
Right. Or just might be angry at him.
I feel all of that.
And I've met some of those men, and some of those men told me they will never have another child if it's not with their wife, because they don't ever want to go through this type of stuff in developmental stages of their child growing and things like that.
I feel all of that, but that still goes back to what I just said to me personally. What are you doing to prevent that? If she,
but that's not every situation, though. That's not every situation. Some men are good fathers. That's just your experience.
I'm not talking about my own experience in that portion. You're saying that these men are good fathers, but the baby mom is crazy. Is this baby father keeping a log of these?
Or they had a.
Hold on. Are these baby fathers keeping a log of these crazy interactions? Are they doing the work that's necessary to when they go to court? These things don't matter.
I've known men that spend tens of thousands of dollars.
We talking about the situation where they're doing all of these things,
thousands of dollars out of their pocket.
You still get the fucked around in court, period.
And they believe in everything she says. She say you smoke weed. She say you drink too much.
And you probably just ain't experienced that enough. But that shit kicks off. That shit kicks off, and it kicks off quite frequently.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched it kicked off.
With motherfuckers doing everything they supposed to be doing.
I've had my own experience with it.
I've known people that had to go to the school to see their kid because the baby mom wouldn't allow them.
I had the same. You know? I went through that same thing.
Not because they didn't want to be there.
Yeah, I went through that exact same thing. I had those same experiences. But what, and again, I can only speak from my experience and what things that I've seen around me. I had that. There was a point in time with my two older kids, I went 8 months without physically actually seeing them for reasons like that. My baby mom was upset that I moved on, had a new person, whatever the case may be.
I got remarried, and my older kids stopped talking to me. And it's July. I got married in July 1st. It'll be coming up July now. So the same things apply in that situation. What do you do? What I ain't gonna do is knocking on their motherfucking door to be trying to push and push myself on them to find out why. Now, have I been a good father? Have I been doing all of the things? For them, anybody to say that I'm not a good father, my question would be saying to them, compared to who?
Yeah.
Let's keep it 100. For those that want to throw that shit out there and say, well, he ain't a good father and all of that, then where's the comparison? Where was the good father that I'm compared to in your life? And with that, Hind and Scott and John, I'm out.
I think we might have hit. That's a good last, not a complete completion, but we're at time. And thank you to talk. I enjoyed the conversation. Hopefully, people enjoyed listening to it. No more technical difficulties. Now you know all of our relationships, mostly.
So you've improved the relationship with your technology?
I've improved yes, I'm committed to. I'm not committed to this computer though. I'm getting a new one. That's true. All right.
Should have married it.
Later, Community Bucket. See you, Byrd. Thank you for joining.